Hello everybody and welcome back. I am KRX and we're continuing with this tutorial of Europa Universalis 4. We're playing as Castile in this run. And of course we have the playlist down below so that you can catch us from the first episode essentially if you're just joining us now. That we're a little bit into the campaign here. Building up a foundational understanding of the game as we go and sort of discussing things as they become relevant, as different sort of currencies and values and things actually appear in terms of the decision making. Then we'll kind of talk about it from there. For the most part, trying our best to assume that the viewer knows nothing about the game, except for, of course, what we've talked about and what we've taught and stuff. I do think we failed in that in many ways. Castile, we're also playing with the DLCs, right? And with the DLCs, this game becomes incredibly complicated. Lots of little nitty-gritty things, in addition to just big systems and stuff that we're working around as well. Castile is also a particularly complicated country, just in the sense, it's a beginner-friendly country, but I mean, like, it has a lot of interesting sort of diplomacy and events and things like that. And one of the major events, of course, is the Iberian Wedding. So we have actually formed a union over Castile and Aragon together. So the rulership with this basically, I don't even know if this happened a couple episodes ago, didn't it? But essentially the King Enrique here is actually the king of both countries, right? Personal union of Castile, they are led by their heir is our heir, their king is our king, so on and so forth. This also applies to Navarra. Now the interesting thing about Navarra is they're pretty small and they're just chilling there. They're not really contributing much. If we go to war, then these countries will be at our side, right? They are part of our strength. The 19,000 Aragon troops are part of our military. We can't control them. They're still operating their own units, but they will honor us in alliance as long as they are loyal. And we can actually go to, we haven't had any issue with them not being loyal. But if we go to our subjects here, we can see that we have different subjects. Some of these are just trade companies. Those aren't really subjects in the same sense. But we have Navarra here, 0% liberty desire. If this ever gets to 50%, then they become disloyal. If it gets to 100%, they're ready to attack. They're ready to attack us and fight for their own independence. Aragon is also at 0%, which is kind of interesting to me. Events, policies, defections, and provinces developed by overlord. Yeah, so the events, so basically because of events and things, they're actually just not that, they have high trust and high opinion and stuff, but you can see the relative power is actually giving them a 44% modifier towards disloyalty, and such. So we do have to keep an eye on that. And it also, I believe, maybe it doesn't work with personal unions, but if you had vassals, they add their power together. They look at their collective might of Navarra plus Aragon. If we ended up getting a PU over Naples, it would be Naples plus Aragon plus Navarra. If they were vassals, but as personal unions, it doesn't work like that. We can click on these countries and actually do some different things. Like we can set them to be aggressive during war and look for sieges, or play supportively, or play defensively, or have no particular focus or whatever. And we could maybe decide in the war and the circumstance what we want these guys to be doing during the war. We can actually put them to sleep, play passively, and so on and so forth. So we can actually hit some buttons in here, potentially to affect their liberty desire and such. So we can support loyalists. This reduces their income, but it makes them more loyal, and so on and so forth. Enable embargo rivals. I don't know if that really actually benefits us too much. We can grant them cores or claims. We can grant them provinces. We can knowledge share with them. Which is actually kind of interesting. So we could share the Renaissance with them, and I guess they'd pay us for that, but I don't think we need to destabilize them. So these are different interactions that we could do. We could force their religion or enforce their culture and stuff like that. But for the most part, enforcing their religion is unnecessary because, of course, they are the same religion as us. It also creates a significant amount of disloyalty when you do something like that. Anyways, Aragon is loyal. Navarra is loyal. Castile is, of course, that's who we're still playing as. Eventually, we could actually look at the requirements for Spain. Now that we have what we are familiar with is most of the Spanish territory. Doing this diplomatically, we need a legitimacy of 100. Okay, that just kind of goes up on its own. A few years, that'll go up. Administrative Tech 10. It's the only thing we don't have. Aragon has to own less than 40 cities. They currently have 25 provinces. They currently have 25. All the following must be true. Is Aragon. Castile has less than 44 cities, currently 44. So we are playing as Castile. So we just need Aragon to be less than 40 cities large. So we can actually expand Aragonese territory. We can actually try to give Aragon some territory here. Like, I don't know if Aragon has some claims on Tunis or anything like that. We could actually, what we could do is we could actually we could try to sort of signal to Aragon, hey, we want this land. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to our own diplomacy screen. I'm clicking on showing diplomatic. So here's our diplomacy screen. I'm going to show diplomatic feedback. And this is Castile. We have our own country selected. Sorry, I went a little quick there. I'm clicking on provinces here. And what this is doing, these are provinces of interest. This is communicating to the world, to the AI, but even more so to Aragon, our subject, that we want this land. We want this land. And this will make Aragon actually think about getting claims on Tunis and sort of spreading our influence over there. So that would be that'd be a good thing. In fact, honestly, we could be like, yo, Aragon, grab this and grab this, and maybe we'll just continue our. We don't have. Oh no, we do actually have. We are touching with Provence there, because I don't know, Provence is right there, right for the taking potentially. So there's some provinces that we can reach to, maybe in Italy and stuff, and conquer into there if Aragon is willing to get the claims for that. Could be worthwhile. Now, I think Navarra already has a claim on this province here. Of course, these guys are a loyal vassal of France, so it's unlikely that we'll be able to just swoop in there and grab that. We could actually end up building a claim on England and attacking England for this land if we cared. I just don't know if we care that much about that, but that is something that we could technically do, right? We have some rebellion that's going to be rising up. Looks like the Moroccans are going to be rising up. They're at 90%. It looks like for the most part we have troops, 15,000 troops that are stationed here to take care of that. They're either going to spawn in the mountains where we're ready for them, or they're going to spawn in the drylands where we won't get any penalties for attacking into them. So that's going to happen soon. Looks like the Sus rebels down here are also thinking about rising up. It'll take an extra sort of minute or two for that to happen. We could actually hit a button over here. It says 8.1% unrest. We could actually hit a button here that will actually increase the autonomy by 25. Increase the autonomy by 25. But it'll lower the unrest by 10, and that will completely get rid of that rebellion. Which, don't get me wrong, this rebellion 7,000 troops. It's not that particularly scary, but it could be still nice to get rid of that. Where are our transports? Because those transports will have to shuttle people over to here eventually once they're done with that. So let's get our transports over to there so they're kind of ready to go. And these dudes are just drilling down here. I think we're getting close to being able to attack into Tlemcen. There is a truce map mode that we can use. So the map modes, guys, I have them set up a certain way, right? And we talked about this, I think, very early on. But if you right click, you can add your own map modes, and there's tons of different map modes here that you can just sort of customize exactly how they're set up. So I'm going to find the truce map mode. Alternatively, if you go, they're organized by like political map modes and economic map modes, and it would be in the political map mode probably if we wanted to find the truce here. Although it might not show up in this list if it's already, or maybe, no, sorry, diplomatic. There we go, truce. In the diplomatic mode there. So, if we go to our truce map mode here, we can see that we have a truce ending with Tlemcen in 1 year. We are 1 year away from this, April 1475. And we also have a means of potentially building a... Portugal is guaranteeing the independence of Tlemcen. Really, Portugal? Really? Really? Portugal's being goofy. Portugal is being super goofy. So we could actually attack Portugal indirectly because of that. What we could do then from there is we could actually have Portugal lose their alliance with England. I'm actually kind of thinking, let's go 7 days here. So we got the rebellion happening soon. We know that's going to happen. Discovery of the New World. Let's go get some innovativeness there, some prestige and some innovativeness. Now we can spend prestige to get rid of our heir, but honestly, at 244, I think we're going to be happy with this guy. I think we're going to be happy with that guy. We have a loan, so we're going to need to pay that loan back, which is 233 ducats. Don't know when that's going to come due. So we are kind of saving up for that loan payment, I guess. We have too many diplomatic relations. We have one too many. Austria, we have that royal marriage with Austria. Now, It'd be kind of neat to keep Austria on the good side of things, but yeah, let's bring this back. We don't need to butter up Navarra anymore. But what we could look and see, okay, could we just integrate Navarra? They're taking up one of our diplomatic slots. They have to be our subject for 50 years, so we can't integrate them for another 40 years. They've only been our subject for 9 years. So unfortunately, that's not going to fly. Let's just butter up Austria because, I don't know. Seems like that's not going to be a bad thing. I don't think, well, I was thinking that we could get a claim on this, but it's going to take 50 spy network to reach that. It might not quite be worth doing that. We already have claims on everything. We're like good to go, ready to go. The truce here is going to end in 7 years with Morocco. So we have too many diplomatic relations. We just, unfortunately, we need the royal marriage to break off with Austria. That'll happen as rulers die and as heirs take over and as people get old and so on and so forth. It'll just happen. We've completed a mission. That's the one to claims in Aragon. Okay, this is good. But the tricky thing is here, this does give us a special CB against Portugal, and we kind of want to be able to, well, attack Portugal when this time comes. Now, this would be a war against England. This would be a war against England. What I'm doing is I'm just clicking on England's provinces here on mainland Europe to see, like, do they have any fortifications? It looks like they have Calais. Other than that, not so much. England, we could check England's military strength and their naval strength and try to get a sense of, like, now, we know, just historically speaking, it makes sense that England would have a very powerful navy. They have 7 heavy ships, 11 lights, and 17 transports. So presumably they could move down 17,000 units, like land units at a time with those transports. It's a pretty large transport fleet. If we looked at Navy, England's military power here, they have no manpower, 33,000 units. We have 35. Portugal isn't too far down here at 22,000 units. Now, the good thing, not necessarily good or bad thing about Portugal is Portugal's relatively hugged by us. We would be able to probably very quickly just sort of swoop in and get at Portugal. Like, we should be able to sort of get in here and attack their army and do a decisive battle. There's a lot of low flat land in here. They don't have a lot of hills or woods or anything like that. As long as we don't fight them in one of these 2 provinces here, then we'd get an even fight, and we could end up taking out their army and sort of sieging down their entire country, really, before they'd have much of a chance to retaliate. And then it would just be a matter of sort of like holding back the English, playing a defensive game against the English. But once we PU Portugal, I'm looking at this mission here that says to continue the Reconquista. Owned by Castile. Do they have to be owned directly by Castile? Or is it count if a subject owns it? Is that okay as well? Is that okay as well? That's the thing, you know what I mean? Because technically it's like Portugal owns these provinces, so I don't know if we would want to take those ourselves. This mission doesn't tie into anything, so it's probably fine if we don't get this mission done. It does give us a bunch of free claims down here, which would be really neat to have, for sure. No joke, but oh, wait a second. Oh, we finished this mission because we started a province in Guinea. There we go. Cool. So we can get the 2 mercantilism. Might as well take that. And we can also set sail to the East Indies. So this is sending us all the way to the East Indies, so Indonesia and stuff like that. It's gonna be a while before we get over there. It's gonna be a while before we can actually do these. We also would have to finish this first. What does this require? Well, this requires this, which means that we have to actually take a province in the New World, which gets us to discover the Caribbean, which gets us to Spanish Main, which gets us over to here, which gets us to here. So a bit of a mission tree there that we're still working through. Portugal. I mean, is now, like, we need to get rid of these rebellions. Let's let the game run for a little bit. Let's just kind of hang out, let the game run for a bit. The truce with Morocco is going to end. We said that was 7 years. We can attack these guys in the next 3 years. However, their independence is being guaranteed by, actually, it's only going to be 1 year for Tlemcen, but their independence is being guaranteed by Portugal. So that's one way to kind of beat up Portugal, destabilize them a bit. We could get them on a short 5-year truce. We could break their alliance with England, hope for the best. We don't want them to ally France. But we could, I don't know, we could maybe do something. The North Atlantic coast, I don't know if we really care about the North Atlantic, to be honest. Oh, look at this. We have discovered the new world. That's good. In fact, what is the actual, like, range here? 240. 220. 220. We're not that far. We're not that far from landing in sort of Colombia, Brazil, or Venezuela, I guess, and sort of Brazil and those kind of areas there. Let's keep Atlantic, South America, Sea. Okay, just keep doing the missions here. Can we actually build? Well, we have a loan right now, right? But the idea is, like, if we could build up our navy, we actually have a huge naval force limit here, right? So presumably we could get more heavy ships. We could rival England directly. Alternatively, what we could do is we could beat up Portugal, because we can see that actually they have 21,000 troops here. They do have the fort in Fez, though. Oh man, that is not good. I don't know if it would allow us to move to this province or if these troops are protected here. But if that is that their entire army? Wait a second. The Portuguese. So we're going into the ledger. We're hitting on armies. I'm searching for Portugal. They have 23,000 troops. Yeah, they only have 2,000 troops here. That's it. 2,000 troops. 21,000 are down here. The problem is Fez is a bad province for us to, like, try to fight in, because it is a mountain fort. Ceuta is also a fort, but they're not paying for it. They've mothballed it right now, which is kind of interesting. I'm thinking, like, if we could get more units over here, we could actually siege down Portugal and get them kind of out of the war before they even know really what's hit them. Because I think we do want to attack Tlemcen, right? This is someone that we do want to attack. We're going to have the means of doing so shortly. But we really need these rebellions to, like, hurry up here. Like, let's get these to go. It says there is a 15% chance every month that they could just rise up on us. So let's do it to it. Say the population change. Population of settlers will change by minus 50%. Well, the thing is, there's only 16 settlers there. So there's 8. That's not really that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. So I gotta say, this is going at a snail's pace. It would be much better to just steal Cape Verde from the Portuguese, which we can do. We can do that if we go to war with them. And it won't even count as colonies aren't really protected under the same diplomatic sort of system. You can just steal colonies basically while they're actively being built, which is really cool. So we could actually hop ourselves over there. It would technically mean that this is going to be Portuguese culture, but I mean, that's a relatively, that's fine. That wouldn't bother us in any way. Oops, we're not protecting trade. We're still doing exploring missions here. Looks like it's saying we have to do the North Atlantic. That's what it wants us to do right now. Posts are still being raided, it seems. Kind of a bummer, but that's how it goes. We still have both Tlemcen up here being annoying, and then we have Morocco down here, all able to sort of raid our coasts. Morocco's going to be a few years away, and we'll be able to clean up the entire coast area there. That was a very quick mission, so we're just sending this explorer off, just doing all the missions that are in the list, just rattling them away. Austria really wants the alliance, but the thing is we don't have enough diplomatic relations. We're over a diplomatic relationship number. This is not going to change. I'm kind of hoping that we'll be able to actually, once they lose out on a, once Naples loses out on a heir, I think we'll be able to actually sort of force claim on them, which will be kind of nice. Force a claim on their throne and sort of bring them back into the fold because they have the same dynasty as us, the same ruling dynasty. So they're our family over there, basically. Austria, it'd be, oh man, it'd be very nice to I would like to ally you, Austria, because you're powerful and you're significant and so on and so forth, but quite honestly, it's just unnecessary. You know what I'm going to do for the sake of simplicity? I'm going to go here and I'm going to actually, we're going to hit this button to raise autonomy. It's already at 90%. It's already a trade company. I'm going to go up to 100% here and remove the unrest completely. I just want to get these guys out of there. That was the only province that was arguing about the Susian separatists. We're just going to get rid of those guys, because I don't want them rising up with these guys simultaneously. This looks like kind of a bad fight, but I mean, it's 15,000 versus 10,000. We have a better... separatists are also kind of a weaker unit. They have quite a bit less morale. They do have the same military tactics as us, though. We are on par with military technology, so that feels good. We are quite a bit behind, though, on Diplo, and also a little behind on admin at the moment. We're actually making a good amount of admin points. We have the Renaissance has been embraced. That feels good. There's a good chance that we'll be able to get the colonialism as the next institution technology blocker. This is going to be taking place in the year 1500, and we can see if we have any eligible provinces. The year is 1500 is the only thing, but it looks like Seville is an eligible province. We have discovered the new world. Okay, it is at least 12 development. So we need the provinces to be 12 development. Cadiz is eligible as well. Cadiz is eligible. We could make this eligible by boosting this up to 12. We could boost any of these up to 12. Granada looks eligible. We could try to get most of these coastal cities up to 12. And that will give us a higher chance to actually spawn colonialism in our own country. Now, we know that the truce here is going to end soon. September. Here's the thing. Actually, if we attack here, will this work? I think they'll join no matter... Well, I don't know if that'll destabilize our dudes, because they have a truce, right? Technically, our subjects have a truce with Tlemcen, so I don't know if that'll destabilize them or not. We might want to wait a couple years on that, which I think is okay. Because we actually are almost thinking about potentially attacking Portugal first and fighting that war against England. I don't know if it's going to be that scary, really. We have no unrest in our country, except for just a little bit over here, which we can actually stomp that out if that ever gets... If the Tlemcen separatists ever get significant, we can get rid of that. So I think what we do is well, I don't know. Maybe we just move these guys over to Tangiers. Yeah, 21,000, but these guys are protected between a fort here and a fort here. So there's not really any good way to, like, get in there and attack these guys. Otherwise, like, attacking those guys, like, sort of, like, sneak attacking them would be really, really, really smart. If we looked at Tlemcen's unit count, they only have 7,000 troops, which is not much, so we really could very much just ignore them while we focus on Portugal initially in the war. The fact that they're not paying for here is really nice. We do need to get that loan paid off, though. I'm going to go up to speed 4 because we're just kind of moving and grooving here, it looks like. And I think next year, right, the truce is going to end here next year. I'm worried that I'm worried we're going to end up destabilizing our subjects if we attack into Tlemcen, because they're going to be basically going into an offensive war against someone they have a truce with. It says they have to honor because they are still our subjects, but I don't want to artificially ruin their stability. Right now they're at positive stability. So I want to get rid of that truce there, which seems to be September next year, so 1 year away on that. Extra prestige for money. I don't really want... We have plenty of prestige, and we need money right now to pay back that loan. What we could do is we could be building a spy network against Portugal. Oh, that just happened. Accommodation with the natives. Peace. Local settler increase plus 25. That's good. Native upgrade. This is all good. So it's going to be growing a lot faster now. We're getting a little chance. Basically, you get a certain amount per year, and then you get a certain amount of a chance per month to sort of trigger something per month. There we go. The loan, we're about to pay off that loan, which is nice. So we're up to 200 ducats there. We're going to be close to embracing the Renaissance. This is happening. That'll be an age bonus that we'll be finishing there. We're getting a decent amount of points. We can get a new technology. We can get this, the workshop, putting us ahead of time there. If we look at Portugal's military technology, they are at 6 just like us. Military Tech 7 is a very important one. We should have it on time. That is going to create some unbalanced research, but we should have it on time. This is a pretty good, the last jousting tournament. Okay, this is a mission that's going to give us 10% morale of armies, the yearly army tradition and prestige, but it does cost us admin points, splendor, and money. So unfortunately, that money there is going to be a little bit of an issue. I think we'll spend our splendor first, though, because then it's going to put us down to 21. Developed colonies, higher developed colonies. So all of the colonies that we develop will be a more +1 tax, +1 3 more development, +1 production, +1 manpower, +1 tax. That's pretty good. Or we could get adaptive combat training, which makes it so that we fight harder in grassland territories because our capital is in grasslands. There's a bunch of little things that we can do here. The justified wars reducing aggressive expansion impact, very, very good for many, many countries. We don't need that. We just don't need that as much. So I think we want higher developed colonies. And then we're going to do this. That does cost splendor. It takes us down to 0. That's fine. Let's see. What did we just get? We just got a new policy. So this new policy opens up the policy and decisions tab. We can read here, this is a policy. If we want it to go away, if we don't want to enact it, we can do that to hide it. Here we could see Administrative Tech 6, and we can get some extra national tax modifier and mission. Why not? It's all good stuff. Let's enact that policy. Don't think there's any negative consequence to doing that one. Okay, February, let's get these guys online. Let's get these guys online. I think we need to pick these guys up, pick most of these guys up at least. There's a few different things that I'm a little worried about here. Let's get 12,000 over to here. And these guys are well drilled. Well drilled. And let's get 8,000 over here. We don't have any cannons yet, though. I think Portugal kind of knows what we're doing here. Portugal kind of knows what we're doing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these troops. I'm going to get these 8,000 here because I want them to swoop into Lisboa. These 4,000 here. Or these guys are probably going to be just sort of like marching in. From this perspective, these 8,000 I think are going to swoop in and try to go right for Lisboa. And then we'll spread out from there. These 21,000 are going to try to deal with these guys. We could also get our trade ships back home. Portuguese have 8 trade ships that are floating about. The Portuguese also have a decent navy too, not to be... Yeah, they have a pretty powerful navy. It's not to be underestimated at all. We do also have the Aragonese fleet and the Aragonese troops too. So those guys are going to swoop onto Portugal pretty swiftly, I suspect. July? Okay, September. September is the month. September is the month. Portugal doesn't suspect anything at the moment. Hopefully we'll be able to pay back this loan before we have to pay another round of interest. But guys, I think for the most part, we're getting ready for war against Portugal. Oh, we've renewed the loan. We just did. We just renewed it. That's okay. We'll pay back that loan in a second. Guys, thanks everybody for watching this episode. I think we're going to attack Portugal, get them separate pieced out, have them break their alliance with England, beat up Tlemcen, take a bunch of their land, and then swing in for Portugal 5 years later and PU Portugal forcibly, and maybe try to get Naples and try to work from that perspective there. So thank you so much everybody for watching this episode. I will see you guys in the next one.